solar eclipse glasses, right? April 8th, pretty close. Just a couple of things. Oh, has anybody been reading about the recent rescues they had up in the Adirondacks and the Catskills? Right, you know, one pointer. If you're doing a high peak somewhere, whether it's the Adirondacks or the Catskills, in the wintertime, don't go in your sneakers. The rangers and rescue teams would greatly appreciate that. Just a couple of business things. We've got emergency exits labeled for several around the room, okay? And if you would, please turn your cell phones off. Also, if you need hearing assistance, we have our hearing loop set up here. If anybody needs to avail themselves of that. You're not hearing it, Doug? Okay, let's get Doug a set of headphones, okay? And I'd like a few folks I know have announcements. So Sarah, you want to?
Thank you. So I am Sarah Mastro. I am the chair of the annual Outdoor Expo. This year is our 25th annual Outdoor Expo. It's on June 8th, 2024, so save the date. And I have a little sign-up sheet over here. If you didn't catch it between the workshop and the program, you can come over after the main program and sign up. 2-hour shifts for volunteering, and lunch is provided, a delicious lunch. So we invite you to come over and sign up for that. And again, save the date, June 8th, 2024, Mendon Haas Park. Thank you.
Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave Nichols. This chapter is run all completely by volunteers. And over the years, we've had some truly amazing volunteers who've gone above and beyond in order to make this chapter successful. Because of that, we have what's called the High Summit Honor Society to recognize those volunteers who've been members for at least 10 years and have really gone above and beyond to contribute to our chapter. We're now accepting nominations for the 2024 High Summit Honor Society members. If you know of somebody that you think really should be nominated, please see me and I'll get you a nomination form. It will be shortly available, it'll be available shortly on the web also for those nominations.
And I believe we have in the audience a few High Summit Honor Society recipients. Could you folks please stand up?
I wear a different hat for the next announcement. I'm also the bike chair. This beautiful weather has got me thinking that we really ought to get some bike outings going earlier rather than later. So I'm looking to start some bike outings pretty soon if people are interested. If you're on my mailing list, we have an email list for those who have biked with us already. Look for those announcements of new bike outings. Also look on the events calendar on the website. If you're not on my mailing list and you would like to go biking with us, we usually bike maybe 12 to 20 miles, generally on canal and rail-to-trail type trails, and sometimes on side streets also. But if you're interested in getting on the mailing list, just send an email to me, Dave Nichols, on bikechair@adk-gvc.org. I'm also listed on the website. Thanks.
Hey, Bruce, you're up.
Hello, I'm Bruce Thayer. I'm the Finger Lakes Trail Steward. I'm looking for volunteers to work on trail maintenance. We've got 3 days we're going to work this year. The first one's on April 6th. We're going to pass around a board here. You can sign up. This is to get you on the mailing list, and you'll be, have your arm virtually twisted later on. So, like I said, the first one's April 6th, just before the eclipse.
And that's, the old saying, many hands make light work. So anybody that's able to participate in those trail maintenance days, your efforts will be greatly appreciated. Greg, did you have an announcement? No. Okay, just holding up the stage over there, are you? Okay, good job. Jackson.
Hi, everybody! Aren't these beautiful colors? Wouldn't you like to give one of these little guys a home? Maybe take home a couple? These ADK bandanas that are imprinted with a map of the high peaks. What could be better? In case any of your equipment fails on the trail. I'm not kidding. There are people who've had one of these who have used the map in that situation. So it can happen. So if you are in need of another bandana, or you don't like the color of the one you currently own, you can see I have a selection of colors. Come over here. We have other merchandise at the bookstore. And then, this might interest you, Reinhard. Doug Smith. Doug, stand up. Doug Smith is another one of our old veterans, members like me, and you have climbed all the high peaks. Let me see if I can remember this correctly. You've climbed them all in every month, every season. Well, yeah. Can't argue with that. You've done it a few other ways too, haven't you?
Many times.
Okay. Well, at any rate, that was supposed to be a better story than it came out. I'm sorry.
He was an 18th row hiker, and he did the 111, and God knows what else he did.
Oh, he's done more than we're going to have time to talk about. It's just that Doug has climbed all 46 high peaks in every month of the year, which is no minor accomplishment, really. Congratulations. So through the years, the reason I'm bringing this up and dropping things is that through the years, Doug has collected a lot of maps. And guess what? He doesn't need these anymore. So he's willing to give you one or more maps to take home for your own personal collection. Just stop over at the bookstore after the program and you can take home as many as you'd like. Fair enough? And if you happen to find some of our merchandise, thanks everybody.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Jason, and thanks, Doug. Do you have any more announcements to be made? No? Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Katie Cusick, our program chair, who's going to introduce our speakers for the evening.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming out tonight. My name is Katie Cusick, I'm the programs chair. Tonight we welcome two representatives from the Adirondack 46ers to talk about the history of the club, its current work, and future projects. We have Lisa Crandall, number 11,554V, which is something I learned that you're going to talk about tonight, and Brian Hoody, number 4,410WV. Lisa is a correspondent, trailhead steward, and was the assistant to the campership committee. Lisa is also one of 4 Leave No Trace master educators. Brian Hoody has been a correspondent since 1999, a trail steward, director, vice president, president, and was on the nominating committee for several years. Brian is currently a trail master, having amassed over 700 hours of trail work. He maintained the herd path between Carson and Grace for 11 years, and now maintains the path from Seward to Donaldson and further ado, please welcome Lisa and Brian.
You guys hear me okay? All right, the whole business will stay here. Yeah, we're going to tell you a little bit about the Adirondack 46ers tonight. We're going to go over a little bit of the history. We're going to show you kind of where we've been and where we're going to, and some of the different programs that we've instituted over the years. Again, I'm Brian.
I'm Lisa. How many of you are 46ers already? And how many are aspiring? And how many don't want any part of it?
That's fine too.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to look at the current membership. We've had quite a boost in membership over the past 10 years especially, and so we have taken, hopefully taken that membership and we're going to try to do good things with that membership and get people interested in the different volunteer activities that we have. So we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the club, some of the volunteer opportunities that we have now, educational mission that we work on with Trailhead Stewards and Leave No Trace, the fact that we tend to give back, not just to local stuff, but also to the Adirondack Mountain Club as well. So, and maybe a little glimpse into the future. So this is our mission statement. You know, we were for many, many years as known as just the patch people, right? And that's what a lot of people consider the 46ers. It's just a patch. It's just something that people would do. But we changed that mission statement fairly recently, but really more in the 1970s, kind of to shift away from just being a social organization, a peak bagging organization, to something that is going to hopefully help protect the mountains. So we've moved away from that, for that peak bagging mentality, and we've moved into the, again, saving animals. So you can read that mission statement. It's all on our website too. So there's a lot of information on our website as well. So the history. So the 46ers of Troy predated the Adirondack 46ers. 1937, the 46ers of Troy started up. Very, very small group of people. That lasted until about 1948. And the modern club, as you guys know today, kind of started up. A lot of the people who were in the 46ers of Troy shifted over to the Adirondack 46ers, like Grace Kowalski, her husband Ed, Dittmeyer, people who kind of started the club, and kind of what we see today. So, and a lot of it was really in parallel with the Adirondack Mountain Club. Most people were members of both clubs. And in the case of Grace, I believe she was the secretary for the Albany chapter of the Adirondack Mountain Club. So they really kind of grew in tandem for a while when it came to the two clubs. So, these are the first 46ers. So you've got Bob Marshall over there on the far left. You've got Herb Clark in the middle and his brother George there. So they're 1, 2, and 3. And they finished on Mount Emmons in 1925. So those are the first 3 46ers that kind of got this whole thing going. Little do they know what it would turn into, but they kind of got this whole thing going. So. And I like this picture because this is the old, there used to be a stone hut on the summit of Mount Marcy. A lot of people don't know that, but there was an actual hut on the summit of Mount Marcy. It was removed, I believe, in the 1950s. So. Well, we are 75 years old. We're celebrating our 75th anniversary this year of the 1948 club. So again, technically the 46ers of Troy was dissolved, and then they started the modern club in 1948. So this is our 75th anniversary of the club. So, and also I should probably mention at the beginning, if you guys have questions, we'll have questions and answers at the end. So anything you want to shout out later on, you can go ahead and do that as well. So we have volunteer opportunities. We've moved it from, primarily it was just a trail crew back in the day. The trail crew started up in the 1970s, and that really was one of the main ways that you could give back to the club. But now we have the correspondence. You could be on, one of the committees. We have the Trailhead Stewards. That's a very good program that really kind of took off like we really didn't expect it to. It really took off. We'll talk, Lisa's going to talk more about that later. The Trail Crew, of course, Leave No Trace. We also have an outdoor skills workshop, and we also do now the Adopt a Highway in the Keene Valley and Lake Placid area as well. So we'll kind of go over those as we go through the presentation. So that is the gold patch. And say that looks familiar, but it's a little different. So that is the gold patch. And so we are trying to entice people to actually volunteer. Okay? So if you volunteer with the 46ers for 146 hours, and it doesn't be anything, it can be trail crew, it can be trailhead steward, it can be a correspondent, then you're eligible to get the gold patch. We found that, like the Adirondack Mountain Club, that we have a very small core group of volunteers. Very small group of volunteers who make up the main volunteer group. And so this was one of the ways that we were going to try to hopefully get people more interested in volunteering. So.
And we picked 146 hours because by the time you worked 146 hours, we got you.
Right, and you just have to stay around. And it leads.
You stole that.
Exactly. And this leads into the Conservation Service Awards. These were primarily back in the 70s and 80s and 90s were for trail work only. But now you can get these hours in a variety of different ways. You can get them through being a correspondent, being a trailhead steward, being a trace trainer, that kind of stuff. So there's a variety of ways that you can get these hours, and they're kind of spaced out. So you get your 46 in the middle there. You can do your 146 or 346, etc. That's where it stopped initially. It was at 346. The people would say, who would be insane enough to keep coming out and volunteering on the trails, and et cetera, et cetera. And so eventually it went to 546, 746, and then 1046. And there's very few people who get that 1046 patch. It's a lot of hours. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can be a correspondent, you can be a trailhead steward, or you can be back in the backcountry doing work on the trails. It's a lot of hours, a lot of Rochester.
However, we do have a lot of people who apply 46, so they're working towards it.
Yeah.
So, there's quite a few.
Yeah. So this is another way to try to entice people into volunteering with the club. And we have seen, of course, we had the pandemic, so that was a bit problematic. But we have seen since the pandemic an uptick in volunteers, and we're hoping that it's because of not just this, but of this as well. So.
Also with the gold patch, you mentioned it, you now get a B after your number. That is why I'm 1155 B, because I have 146 hours. Some of you are familiar with the W, which means if you did it in the winter, you get a W after. Well, now it's a B after you volunteered.
Lisa, if you could speak into the microphone, please.
Oh, sorry. So, do you want me to restart? So, the letter B is after you volunteer for 146 hours. And it symbolizes that you have volunteered that many hours. Just like the W symbolizes that you hiked the 46 in the winter. We're not doing EW though, we're doing WV. Brian is WV. I'm still working on my winters, but I am a V. So.
Now we're going to get into our different volunteer work that we do. And if you look, you can see Lisa in this picture actually.
This is our women's weekend. That's not a great shirt. This is our women's weekend. 1 year,
This is the one.
I'm sorry. This is our women's weekend. 1 weekend a year. We have just women only. It was a way for women to come together and be able to work on tools. No offense, guys, but we wanted to work on tools without guys telling us how to do it. So we're taking over, and we wanted to build things and give back just as much. So this weekend was started by Pete Hickey, and some of you are familiar with him. He still comes back to our women's weekend. He great weekend. It's a great time for women just to get together and, you know, have fun together. The next picture, I think it is, yeah. So the bridge, is that the same bridge? It's not. Sorry, I'm forgetting. The weekend's bled. So this was another women's weekend. Funny thing is, it was raining. We knew it was raining, but we worked through all kinds of weather, just like you hike. And I kept hearing about some flooding. I was further, not far from where this is. It was on Sunday. It had rained all day Saturday, all day Sunday. We were in the water building the bridges, so it didn't matter to us. And so I personally was very shocked when we were walking out, and this is our new bridge underwater. The good news is we did a great job. It survived.
Show us the shirt.
Oh, and this is, it says, I survived, wow, women's only weekend. And also, I might as well hold up this shirt too. This is also something you only earn when you do 146 hours of trail crew. And I have a picture, I just got mine, and I was so ecstatic because it took me a long time to get it. But, so everybody gets that t-shirt when you do 146 just for trail.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the trail crew started in the 70s. 1977, they had their first project. It was the Lake Arnold Crossover Trail. Did a lot of work on that trail. And then in 1978, it was officially codified as a trail crew, volunteer trail crew. And then Jim Goodwin, number 24, a lot of people know that name. Tony Goodwin does all the maps and books, High Peaks maps and books, was the trail master for the 46ers when he first started out. So it's been around, the trail crew's been around since 1978 in some form or another. We do use modern techniques that we were taught by the DEC. We work with Region 5 Forester for training. We've trained on Cascade Mountain on the new trail that we're building on Cascade with DEC personnel as well as the Adirondack High Peaks Trail Crew, which is a pro crew. So we try to use modern building techniques that we were taught in the field. And this is one of them. It's basically turnpiking, like building rock walls and then putting non-porous material, like, I shouldn't say non-porous, but like stuff like sand or gravel so that it doesn't wash out the trail any longer. So we also work a lot on Calamity Brook. This is also a new technique where we will crush local rock because you can't get gravel sometimes, so you're forced to actually crush stone. It's very labor intensive.
It's fun.
And you can see again the crib right there that holds the rock in place. And if you're on the Calamity Brook Trail sometime in the summer, there's certain parts that are done and certain parts that aren't. And you can definitely tell the difference.
Especially if you were there before and you come back, you're going to notice a big difference. I noticed from the time.
What trail is that?
Calamity Brook Trail. It's the southern trail in Marcy.
We're building it so it'll pave the way eventually.
Yeah, it was an old series of mining roads and logging roads, so it's really susceptible to bad drainage and needs a lot of work. So again, you can definitely tell the sections that have been treated at this point in time. So blowdown, the constant in the Adirondacks. This was in the North Trail Giant. So we do adopt quite a few different trails throughout the High Peaks region, with the Whiteface Trail from Reservoir up to the summit, North Trail Giant, most of the Dix trails, and then we also have people who work on the curb paths. So we've got people who go up high and do work on the curb paths as well. So we do bridges, as Lisa mentioned earlier. So we do some bigger projects as well. Again, it's never ending when you blow down. So this is one of my favorite pictures. And then we also do lean-tos. So we worked on lean-tos over the years. We also work with lean-to rescue. A lot of people who we work with lean-to rescue kind of cross-pollinate between the two groups. But we do also, as the Adirondack 46ers, work on lean-tos We worked extensively on the Mr. Van lean-to on the Mr. Van ski trail, going up towards Van Hogenberg. And we're working right now at the lean-to hospital in Keene Valley on a new lean-to for the North Trail of Giant. I don't know if anyone's ever been up the High Bank and beyond on that trail, but there is an old, very old lean-to back there that needs to be redone. Well, it's going to be actually taken out, and we're going to have a new lean-to dropped in. So we've been working on it this winter, actually, throughout the winter, so in the lean-to hospital, which is a giant barn. So. We also work with the New York State Department of Transportation, and we have adopted roads for adopted highway. So we have 12 miles of road at this point in time. So we've got 2-mile section between Roaring Brook up towards Chapel Pond, and then we have a 4-mile section from I think the new Cascade Welcome Center for ADK all the way up to Big Slide Creek. So we do 12 miles total, both sides of the road for adopted highway. And adopted highways is interesting because you can volunteer on weekdays. They do a lot of their stuff on weekdays. So if you happen to work weekends or you can't get out there on the weekends, you can do this for volunteer work. There's a volunteer time for pretty much any time you can do volunteering at this point. So whether you're doing correspondence work or you're doing something like this, again, so there's a whole bunch of different opportunities. So. And then the correspondence program. Some of you may remember Grace, maybe you wrote to Grace back in the day. She's number 9. She's really the heart and soul of the club. We still have the correspondence program to this very day. We don't use a typewriter anymore. It's all online. I do know one person that still uses a typewriter. I don't know if anyone knows the name Gary Koch, but he lives up in Tupper Lake and he still uses a typewriter. He still does the occasional letter to his climbers to this very day. So.
The one good thing is, if you do know somebody aspiring, if you hook them up with this program, tell them to go online and sign. What's really neat is at the end, they're checking their mountains as they go in their day in. So when they're done, it prints out a list that they just have to turn that in when they turn in their 46. On top of it, they get a PDF of their whole conversation. So that, in other words, that's your story that we all wish we wrote. Some of you did, I didn't. I wish I could go back and take all my Facebook posts and put them in a story. Maybe someday I will. But this delivers it. So something to keep in mind.
Okay, and then we also do an outdoors skills workshop once a year up at the Adirondack Lodge. And that's been going on. That's actually, I think, it's been going on since 1972. And so that is basically compass work, leading groups out into the woods, proper ways to camp, cooking demos, etc., etc. So it's trying to educate people on outdoor leadership.
All right. Trailhead Stewards started in 2017. As we know, Cascade is the busiest mountain of all. Everybody wants to hike Cascade. It's a high peak. It's easy, So we had a booth there for Trailhead Stewards to give out information. It's done in a way that is not supposed to be intrusive. We're not the police. We're not. We don't tell people how to. What to do, but if we see somebody with sandals, we might want to suggest to them that it's a little rough, but if they want to proceed, that's on them, because we're not there to police. We're there to soft skill, which we'll get into in a minute, the leave no trace principles. We're there to give information. They may not learn that time, but they'll have that piece of information to move forward and possibly learn from experience and then build on their skills, just like we all did. We didn't all do the right things right from the get-go. So in order to become a trailhead steward, you have to take an 8-hour training. once a year, and then after, well, once. And if you continue every year, you only have to do it 4 hours. It's a refresher, new information kind of thing. We were originally in the Cascade little hole there as you walk in. During COVID, we moved out and we're a little bit down the road. We found that that works better. Again, we're not being intrusive. We're not forcing people to stop and talk with us. We want to be welcoming. We want to encourage them to hike safely, to enjoy their hike, to do their thing, and get some information from us. In 2021, we were asked by the DEC if we could have an area by South Meadows. It's another very busy area. We're catching the hikers, the overflow. It's a little different grouping that we're, group of hikers that we're meeting there. Some are inexperienced, but most of them have some experience at the high peaks. Some that want to do the trap dike. Some, just ask you where to park. They don't have all the information. We talk more about the backwoods, camping regulations, the bear canister regulations, those kind of things. Again, it's soft skills. We don't want to, we're not the police, we're giving them information to protect themselves, to protect the wildlife. It's received more it's received better that way. This is one of the classes that we hold. There's 3 sessions. One is April, don't ask me the dates, even though I'm teaching all of them.
April 21st.
Is it April 21st? So I'll be at that one, and I'll be at the May one. I will not be at the June one, though. I teach the Leave No Trace portion, but in there, we meet at the BOCES in Saranac Lake. We learn Leave No Trace. The foresters and the rangers from the DEC come and talk with us. They help explain things, like why it's taking so long to get to Cascade Trail. Why, there's a lot I've learned from their little talks. You don't have to agree, but at least you're learning why. People also, there's people that have worked there in the past, so you get to learn new people. Once you sign up for Trailhead Stewarding, you're required to do 2 a year, from May to October. I don't know the exact dates, but you sign up for 2 sessions a year. Sorry, so you can do them both in the same weekend and get it out of the way. The more the merrier. These are our shirts. You can earn your letter B by doing this. It's 8 hours. You are appointed to either sit by Cascade or South Meadows. Recently, this program's expanding. I don't know if Brian knew I was going to talk about this, but ADK is now going to have a paid Trailhead Steward. They're going to be there when we're not, and they're also going to be at the Giant thing. So the program's important. It's getting information to the busiest mountains where things can happen. Leave No Trace. That is my thing. I just went to a training 2 years ago. 46ers paid me to do a 5-day training to become a master educator. We're currently the master educators and we're the trainers. So what a master educators, we usually train the trainers to go out and spread the word. This year we're unfolding that because it just kind of really came to full speed last year. I'm taking my wilderness first aid in the end of April, which is a requirement to teach the class. In August, we are going to select 5 people that want to join us, and we will train them how to be a Leave No Trace trainer. It's a 2-day program. There'll be a small cost to it, but most of it's free. will have expectations that you take that training and spread it on. Some of the places that we have done Leave No Trace education so far is we've been invited to Blue Mountain Lake Museum. They do an ADK experience for all, a free day. We went there last year. We had a great time. People from cities, people that don't normally get out to the woods, we got to talk with them. Had some amazing experiences at that. We're invited back to that this year. We're going back. We teach the Leave No Trace portion to our trailhead stewards so that they know how to talk to the people that they're engaging and not be offensive or policing, and just how to, basically how to encourage people to take care of our mountain space.
Lisa?
Yep.
We have a lot of people who are hard of hearing, and it really makes a big difference if you stand close to the mic. If it sounds too loud to you, but try not to back away.
Okay. I'm just animated. I'm so sorry. I move all the time. And usually I'm loud, so I'm surprised.
It's much better.
Okay. I apologize.
Lisa, if you want, we can make that microphone so it's handheld so you can move
It's
around.
fine. I will pay attention. So anyways, what other programs? So we've also gone to a public market in the Adirondacks, educated the local people. One of my favorite programs that we did last year is the BOCES program. They provide so much to the 46ers. We don't have space, so all of our space is donated. And the BOCES program donates time and space for us to do the trailhead steward training. The BOCES program also has a program that builds these lean-tos, and the kids get to go and help install it into the woods. And they, so even though they live there, you'd be surprised how many of the kids really don't get into the woods. So as a gift back to them, we did a Leave No Trace training last year. We're doing it again this year. No, 2 years ago, sorry. We're going to do it every other year because there's 11th and 12th grade, and we want to catch the whole population. But anyways, the kids loved it. It was great to engage with them. I think they took a lot of the lessons that we took to them to heart. We had an experience where you would say, "Oh, I wear my headphones in the woods," or "I blare my music," and they had to pick a booth to answer their question. And by the time we pondered all these things that were Leave No Trace that some people might not even think of, they were having a little change of heart. And I have to say, one of my favorite quotes, which was heartfelt, did not know, it got quoted in the paper, was, "I took care enough about your home that I took the day off to come here and talk to you about your home and how beautiful it is and how I said it differently, but how beautiful it is and how I want to help you preserve it." And they really took that to heart, and I think they had a new appreciation of their home. So we are planning on doing more outreach to other schools. That's why we need more trainers. If you're interested, please come up and talk to me about it.
Okay, we're just going to finish up here. A couple more quick things. This is not just an outhouse. It is from the, we do this for the Osceola River Association. It's another group that we work with. So we provide outhouses so that people don't go near the river. We also do interpretive signs and boot brushes as well for the Osceola River Association. We also bought a bunch of beer canisters that are rented out to folks. So they're given to various organizations and rented out to folks who don't have beer canisters, who show up and they're going to go back into the woods without their beer canisters. So we have these beer canisters that we can rent out. And we also give a lot of money to the Adirondack Mountain Club, mostly to the Pro Crew, as well as the Summit Stewards. So that's where the bulk of our money goes. We don't get like huge amounts of donations, we get a lot of small donations. donations from everybody. Somebody will give us 20 bucks, 30 bucks, and that all goes to something. Because our group is 100% volunteer. There's no paid positions whatsoever in our club, so none of the money goes towards a paid position. It all goes directly either to funding our volunteer organization pieces or to the other places like that. So it's just about that in Cascade Welcome Center. So this, I guess, would be question and answer at this point in time. Yes?
So you said that the master trainer is 5 days?
So the master trainer is 5-day training that the 46ers paid for.
Because we have some requirements to be leaders of hikes, and one of them is that course, and it's 2 days. So I'm wondering.
So that's what we teach. We teach the 2-day, and that we're teaching our first 2-day in August, first week in August, weekend in August. So it might be easier, actually Leave No Trace just changed the titles, and I just used the previous title. It's now Leave No Trace Trainer 1 and Trainer 2. I think I'm Trainer 1. I was taught how to teach it. So I have a huge wealth of knowledge that I was trained so that I can train the trainer, the 2-day program, and they can spread it out.
I'm just thinking there's an overlap in training that maybe we're not exploiting.
Like
The ADK requires certain leadership courses, and there's an overlap with the 36ers.
there could be. We're not the only organization that offers Leave No Trace. It's a worldwide organization on its own. We just adapted their principles, and they train. We actually are 46ers, but when we're under the Leave No Trace, when we're training Leave No Trace, we're Leave No Trace for trainers. Correct. We're representing the Leave No Trace organization, primarily that the Adirondack Mountain Club, the Adirondack 46ers paid for me to be part of, if that makes sense. So it's a dual thing, but we're really representative of Leave No Trace.
Yes?
If you are an aspiring member for volunteer hours.
You can. Yes. A couple of ways. The trail crew doesn't care. Anybody can come out. You don't even have to climb a mountain. Come out to the trail crew. It's what do we say about the trail crew? Strong backs and small minds. So.
I met some of my best friends on trail crews. So. And there is a job for everyone, seriously. We have people with injuries. It is a way to get out into the woods still and enjoy the woods.
I would encourage anybody who's aspiring to join as an aspiring member. You pay a nominal fee, and then you get all the publications and all that stuff.
Right, which we didn't talk about, we forgot. So, twice a year, if you're aspiring, or even if you're not, we put out a publication twice a year. Once a year has all the new, has the name of every new person that is a 46er. It's really cool. There is some fantastic stories, and the pictures, I think, are phenomenal. That you don't have to be a member, and you just sign up. You can get those magazines. You can get other little perks. You can do trail crew. What you can't do is trailhead stewarding. That was decided against because you have to have an idea of those high peaks if you're going to talk to people that are going up there. So that makes sense. You can also do the roadside crew without being a 46.
Any other questions? Yeah, fire them off. Yes, sir.
I never heard of this Need To Hospital.
Need To Hospital?
Can you talk a little bit about that? And is it a joint venture or is Need To Rescue involved in that?
Yeah, Lean to Rescue is involved in that. It's a private residence.
Okay.
That's up in Keene Valley. And that is it's a big barn next to a cabin. And it's been used for years by Lean to Rescue to reassemble lean-tos, usually in bad weather, cold weather, and then they package them up, and they usually airlift them out to the sites that way. So, yeah.
And so that's in conjunction with DEC, you'll do the airlifting.
Yeah, DEC does all that kind of stuff. So they deliver it and stuff like that to whatever site it's going to as well as for like we do deliveries from the DEC from the helicopters with like bridge materials and stuff like that. Not always. Sometimes Putnam Pond a couple of years ago we had to carry waterlogged boards for like 2 miles. I had indents on my shoulders for like weeks after that for those boards. So.
It should be known that we don't do anything out there without the DEC's approval. We have to have that is their land. They regulate it. We can't just go in there and do anything without their approval.
They actually, the state also instituted them work plans, so everything has got a work plan now too. So you have to have that approved before you can actually begin work on specific. That's what we call rock work. So like building a bridge, doing rock work, like that kind of stuff requires a work plan. Low down does not at this point in time, but any kind of rock work requires a work plan from the DEC. So. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Is the Summit Steward,
It is. The Summit Steward is run by the Adirondack Mountain Club in conjunction with the DEC, and they're posted out on the actual summits like Algonquin, Marcy, Wright, stuff like that. We do work with them. We usually see them in the morning on Cascade as they go head up the trail, and they work with people who make the summit and educate them not to trample in plants and walk on stuff, except stand rock, etc., etc. So yeah, they're separate. More questions?
Okay, thank you very much. All right.